What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. We're doing another talent tree build. This is for Elemental Shaman. The talent trees, the Shaman talent trees, like, it's just so good that I feel like we can actually start to flesh out some of these builds already. There's actually been a really critical change that's going to help the lightning build like a lot for Ele Shaman. So this is kind of my final tree. I do have 1 point unspent. Because I'll show you when we get here that there's a lot, like there's a ton of places you could put this last point. It's kind of undecided at this point. But let's go to a regular tree. Let me just put this back over here, and let's look at what a normal tree. I'm gonna kind of flesh it out for you, build it out with you guys. This is going to be a, Stormkeeper, Storm Elemental, lightning build, sort of what you're used to in a lot of ways, what Ele Shamans have been used to for a while now. This idea that Storm Elemental has been extremely strong, and it's been a staple part of Ele Shaman for a long time. I'm thinking, particularly for this build, we're looking at Mythic Plus, so you're going to need some AoE damage. That's a big part of this. It's less of a single target build, but it can definitely do single target damage. So let's jump right into it. Let me look at the class tree first and show you guys exactly kind of what you might want to build. Again, the Shaman tree is so good that it doesn't really matter as much. I think that you could take a lot of choice nodes up here at the top, and it just wouldn't really matter that much. But again, you're going to want your defensive, get some movement speed. Now we're into the second row. You're going to want to take damage reduced, probably Graceful Spirit here. Get your lightning bolt damage here. And then you're going to want Gust of Mist over here probably, or, Gust of Wind or Spirit Walk, whichever one you want. Get your Ankh health, and like we still have 1 point to spend here somewhere. Probably grab Windrush Totem. You can get your Cap Totem for Mythic Plus if you need it. What you're really looking for down at the bottom here is Nature, Swiftness, and Thunderstorm / Thunder Shock. This gives you more CC. So you could have Cap Totem and Thunderstorm. And if you don't know, guys, this new node right here, Thundershock, will knock enemies up into the air. So it's like an additional form of CC. Thunderstorm usually knocks enemies away, which can be really bad because your tank will spend the first 10 seconds of every pull trying to get enemies together, and then you're just like, blap, get them away. So instead, you can use Thunderstorm as an AoE knock-up, which is another form of AoE CC, just like your Cap Totem. So strong CC going on here. Now, with my fire build that I did for Ele Shaman, grabbing Liquid Magma Totem, you really wanted to get Call of the Elements. You don't need to get Call of the Elements this time for anything. So these last 7 points, literally put them wherever you want. Do you need a cleanse for the dungeon? Do you need an anti-fear? Do you need a hex? If you don't need it, you probably want Earthman right away. Do you want extra healing? Go down and get AG, right? Do you need Poison Cleansing Totem down here? Do you want a physical reduction damage totem? Everything you got right now is what you need. I'd say you're on average you have maybe 4 points left. I just took a defensive there. It's up to you. Do whatever you want. Go Earth Shield. Do this. Maybe get another Earth Shield, and then we'll get Stone Skin Totem. There you go. So that's the beauty of Ele Shaman in terms of the class tree. There's just not a lot that you actually have to pick up in terms of throughput. So you definitely need Improved Lightning Bolt, and you need Nature Swiftness. Those are almost the only two. Then you're going to want, obviously, Thunderstorm and Thundershock, okay? So let's get to the spec tree. Let's fill out this build. This is a lightning-focused build. So we're going, left side of the tree. We're going this way. We're not going to go this way. The right side of the tree is a lot of fire. Now, in the opener, you basically have to grab everything. One important change that Blizzard made to the talent trees, they put Storm Elemental up here now. If you guys have been paying attention over the last couple of weeks, the very first build of Ele Shaman that we saw, the talent trees, had Fire Elemental up here, and Storm Elemental was down here, where Improved Flame Tongue Weapon is now. This was where Storm Elemental used to be, which didn't really make any sense because all your lightning stuff is over here, and then you have to track all the way over here just to get the Storm Ele, which is really frustrating. Primal Elementalist is still here, but it's very easy to get to now, and they move Storm Elemental up here. So this is a massive change for the Storm Elemental build, for the lightning build. It actually works so incredibly well now. The way that this talent tree flows now is perfect. This is exactly what they needed to do, and it just, again, it continues to show me that Blizzard is very invested in their players. They're very invested in the game and listening to community feedback, because we all told them Storm Elemental was in a really, really bad place when it was down here. They're listening and they're making changes, and it's so good to see that from Blizzard. Okay, let's keep going. So you have to get these first three. You're going to want Elemental Fury, of course. Then you're basically going to stop at Primordial Bond over here. I think you do get Lava Surge in a minute, but we'll just keep going. This is a good choice node, Primordial Fury or Ancestral Wolf Affinity. Very, very good choice node now. Like, this is great. If you really want the ability to do stuff on the move in your Spirit Wolf form, like if you're on a raid boss, let's say, and you need to get the damage reduction from Spirit Wolf. So you have Spirit Wolf here. This is 20% damage reduction when it ramps up over 4 seconds. The nice part about Ancestral Wolf Affinity is you can cast all these other spells while you're ramping your defense up in Spirit Wolf form. So very, very strong synergy there. Love that. Need to master the elements for sure. This is a great little bonus to your damage. You're going to be weaving in Lava Bursts to be buffing your lightning damage. The entire purpose of Lava Burst in this build is to buff the damage of your lightning stuff. You don't want to be pressing Lava Burst at all unless you get a Lava Surge proc. So we'll take that there. Make sure we take Lava Surge. Now we do have the next row unlocked. We're going to go over here, and we're going to take Aftershock. Now, we do need to go down the left-hand side, so we'll get to that in a second. Let's get Tumultuous Fissures. I know it looks like we're taking a lot of extra points up here, but all the extra points up here are actually worth it, okay? We're going to take Call of Thunder, which increases the damage of your Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, and Storm Ele by 15%. This includes your Storm Ele, right? So this is really, really good. Your Lightning Bolt over here gets 20% more damage. Then it gets 15% more here. So you have 35% more Lightning Bolt damage, and you have 15% chain lightning damage, and then more damage on your Storm Ele, which is going to be good because we're going to make him a Primal Ele in a minute. Okay? So Call of Thunder is good. Then we have Unrelenting Calamity. This is actually a massive, massive node, and you might not understand why at first glance. So let's talk about it. There's something on my mic. Mike, hello? Mike, are you in there? Okay, listen. This reduces the cast time of your Lightning Bolt and your Chain Lightning by 0.25 seconds. That is really significant because they nerfed Storm Elemental in Shadowlands. In the latest patch of Shadowlands, it was like Season 3, Storm Elemental went from giving you 20 stacks of the Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt cast time reduction buff. It could stack up to 20 times. Now it can only stack up to 10 times, and they're carrying that through into Dragonflight, which is good because Storm Elemental was like the only thing you could pick on Elemental Shaman for years, and then they finally nerfed it. But what they're doing right now with this tree is they're saying, listen, we nerfed Storm Ele, but we're going to give you back a little bit of that power in Unrelenting Calamity. So the main reason you want Storm Ele is because it reduces the cast time of your lightning spells. This also does that for you. So basically, this is Blizzard giving a nod to the people who still want to play Storm Elemental and don't want to feel giga punished because they can't get 20 stacks of this buff anymore. So you can still get 30% cast speed on Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning, and you get the flat cast speed reduction right here, which is very, very good. Increases the duration of Earthquake by 1 second. Also actually quite good. That's just more damage. Literally just more damage, more chance to knock enemies over. Okay. Then our first Stormkeeper number 1 is up here. It's this is the good version of Stormkeeper, by the way. It's the same actually as live. I thought it buffed the damage of Chain Lightning. So it's the exact same as live. It either buffs the damage of Lightning Bolt and causes it to overload, or just causes a Chain Lightning to overload. So it's good though. Very, very good. We're not going to take Shake the Foundations. It's just not quite good enough compared to the other stuff that we want. We do want Flash of Lightning, and this is like the complete and utter core of the build. This is it right here. Between like Unrelenting Calamity and Flash of Lightning is the absolute centerpiece of this entire build. Okay? Casting Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning reduces the cooldown of your nature spells. What does that mean? Well, you have a lot of nature spells. Number 1, Thunderstorm. This is, again, being used as a CC in Mythic Plus. You can reduce the cooldown of Thunderstorm. I'm 99.8% sure that you can reduce the cooldown on Nature's Swiftness because it sounds like it's a nature spell. It might not count as a nature spell, but it feels like it should. So we're just going to go with Nature's Swiftness being cooled down by Flash of Lightning, okay? There's 2 spells. Also, if you want to take Lightning Lasso instead, you can also cool down this spell, which is actually very, very significant. This spell looks like crazy on the surface because it does 700% spell power damage, and it is good. But you have to channel for 5 seconds, which means you're not casting any other spells, which is kind of a bummer. But if you can get the cooldown of Lightning Lasso, drop 15, 20 seconds off of Lightning Lasso, like that's actually very substantial. Now, if you could almost cut the cooldown of this in half, that would be bonkers. So that's another one. We have 3 abilities that this is affecting now. Oh, guess what? Stormkeeper is a nature spell. You can reduce the cooldown of Stormkeeper. Guess what? We're going to take a second Stormkeeper down here. You'll have 2 charges of Stormkeeper, and you'll be reducing the cooldown of the one that's coming back. Okay, that's a 4th spell. Here's a 5th spell, Elemental Blast. Elemental Blast counts as all 3 forms of damage that the Shaman can do, if you don't know that. Elemental damage means fire, frost, and nature. It's all 3 of them. So if you have buffs to your fire and frost damage, but over here, that's buffing Elemental Blast damage. If you have a boost to your nature damage, that's buffing Elemental Blast. If you can cool down nature spells by 1 second, that is Elemental Blast. So Elemental Blast is now a spender, right? It spends 90 Maelstrom or 75, which we're going to be spending 75 because we're going to take Eye of the Storm. So if it's a 75 cost spender, it doesn't do as much damage as Earthshock, but it has scaling that Earthshock does not have. So you can scale the damage of Elemental Blast by buffing your fire damage, your frost damage, and your nature damage. And of course, this can overload, and it's going to give you that extra stat boost as well. But the main thing here is that this has a cooldown. So if you're generating 75 Maelstrom and then you spend this, and then you're able to generate 75 Maelstrom, like, again, very, very quickly through something like Stormkeeper in AoE, you won't be able to cast Elemental Blast right away. You just won't be able to because it has a cooldown. But Flash of Lightning helps to really fix that problem. It's going to start reducing the cooldown of Ele Blast, get it back very, very quickly so that if you are able to generate an absurd amount of Maelstrom, let's say you get an Aftershock proc, right? Then you'll be able to get back and cast it right away once again. So very, very good stuff there. In the middle of the tree, we take Swelling Maelstrom, which gives us 50 more maximum Maelstrom. That's really, really good with Elemental Blast because this gives us 150 Maelstrom. We have 100 base. We're getting 50 more, okay? Ele Blast is going to cost 75 Maelstrom. That's half of our Maelstrom. So that means that we get to build up our Maelstrom, and if we are in, like, let's say you're sitting at like 30 or 40 Maelstrom, okay? And your Stormkeeper comes off cooldown. You press your Stormkeeper and you hit that Chain Lightning, you're going to go above 100 Maelstrom with that Chain Lightning. Like, I almost guarantee it. That's just how the overloaded Chain Lightnings work. They give you so much Maelstrom back. So you're sitting at like 40 or 50 Maelstrom. You hit your Chain Lightning. On live servers, you're going to cap at 100 right away, and you're going to overcap Maelstrom. In this one, in Dragonflight, you can get up to 150 Maelstrom, which means you're not going to overcap anymore. Like, you don't have to be afraid to use your Stormkeeper kind of like optimally. Like, you still want to use it optimally, but you're not going to waste as much Maelstrom as you do on the live servers. That's just the bottom line. So Swelling Maelstrom is actually a massive buff. It's a really, really good thing to take. We obviously have Lava Surge and Echo the Elements, and we have Aftershock right here. Now we're going to move to the right-hand side. We have to get 2 more points here. What are we going to do with those points? We're going to put 1 over here into Flames of the Fire Lord, and then we're going to put 2 into Power of the Maelstrom. I know we've already unlocked the bottom row, but we need to get over here because we want to pick up Primal Elementalist, okay? This is really, really good for Storm Ele. Of course, this gives us the ability to do the Darth Vader thing with Storm Elemental, right? So that's it there. We're kind of done on the right-hand side. We do pick up Power of the Maelstrom, which is a nice little buff, once again. As you're weaving in lava bursts, you don't really care about lava burst damage in this build. You care about getting back to pressing Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt. But if you get a Lava Surge proc, you're going to press Lava Burst because it's instant cast, and it has a chance to give your next Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt an overload. Obviously, it'll affect the next 2 Lightning Bolts or Chain Lightning. So it's like a mini Stormkeeper. Like, it's like you have Stormkeeper almost 3 times with this build. Okay, now we're going down here. We're going to get Ele Blast and Echoes of the Great Sundering, and we're going to get second Stormkeeper. There's a case to be made for Lightning Rod with this build. This is something you could do. So again, Earthshock, Ele Blast, and Earthquake make your target a Lightning Rod, and Lightning Rods take 25% of all damage you deal with Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning. So very, very cool. Very cool effect. I actually don't know about the tuning and how well it's going to work. Like, we just don't know. It does seem like Stormkeeper is just like an obvious better choice right now, especially because you can cool it down with Flash of Lightning. So you're probably going double Stormkeeper, and you have Echoes of the Great Sundering. Now we have 4 points left. We're basically done our build. Oh, sorry, we're not done our build yet. We got to go down the middle here. We have 1 point left at the end. This is where we got to last time with the other tree that I was showing you guys. So you have to come over here and get Primal Elementalist. That is guaranteed. You got to come get that. Power of the Maelstrom is a great buff to get. We have all of our buffs in the middle in terms of Swelling Maelstrom, Aftershock, Eye of the Storm. Then these bottom two, we have to get Echo Chamber and Mountains Will Fall. This is a build where we're generating a ton of Maelstrom weapon stacks very quickly, and we're spending with Elemental Blast and Earthquake, and we're doing the Echoes of the Great Sundering build. So you want to have Mountains Will Fall because you want your Earthshock and Ele Blast and Earthquakes to all be overloading as much as possible, okay? So we do take Echoes of the Great Sundering. Let me just talk about this for a second. I don't like this playstyle, but this playstyle is going to get easier in Dragonflight because of Nature's Swiftness, okay? So Nature's Swiftness makes your next nature spell instant cast and costs no mana, and Elemental Blast falls into that category. And this is actually incredibly good. So what you can do is you build up some Maelstrom. Let's say you're on pull. You pop Storm Elemental into Stormkeeper or whatever. Stormkeeper first, then Storm Elemental, okay? Then you pop your 1 Chain Lightning, which is going to overload and probably give you 40 or 50 Maelstrom, maybe more. Then you could pop your second Chain Lightning, so you're up you're above 100 Maelstrom now, and you've just done a bunch of damage. Now you've got enough Maelstrom to use a spender. You hit Nature's Swiftness into Ele Blast, so it's free, doesn't consume any Maelstrom, and then you immediately pop an Earthquake to get the Echoes of the Great Sundering buff. So Nature's Swiftness lets you get your Echoes of the Great Sundering rotation like online right out of the gates, which is really, really good. And if you're able to cool down Nature's Swiftness with Flash of Lightning, it makes Echoes of the Great Sundering so much more bearable. It makes it such a better build, like by a mile, because you're not spending like tons and tons of time getting Maelstrom, hitting your Earthshock, getting Maelstrom, pressing Earthquake. Like, we all know the rotation of Echoes of the Great Sundering, and like it's a good legendary, but it's really can be really frustrating to play if you're not getting any Aftershock procs, you know, if you're not getting any overloads and you're not generating extra Maelstrom. Oh my god, it can feel so bad to play. So Nature's Swiftness helps to solve that problem in a huge way. And it just means that you can like start your pull with tons of damage from your Stormkeeper. So you do 2 Chain Lightnings in a row. You get up to like 100 Maelstrom. You pop Nature's Swiftness into Ele Blast, which is now free. Then you pop your Earthquake. And it's just you immediately have your Echoes of the Great Sundering build online. So that is really, really cool. I love the synergy between these two and here. The only issue will be to see if you're able to cool down Ele Blast quick enough to keep up with the amount of Maelstrom that you'll be able to generate. Like my guess is with this build, with double Stormkeeper, you'll be able to generate more like Maelstrom more quickly than you can actually spend it with Ele Blast. So there might be a time, even if you're running Echoes of the Great Sundering, where your Ele Blast is not going to be off cooldown for like another 6 or 7 seconds, but you're like almost capping on Maelstrom, and you need to just use an Earthquake in between to get your Maelstrom down a bit, and then your Ele Blast will come off cooldown. Then you can press Ele Blast into another Earthquake. So we'll have to just see how it actually plays in game, but that is the general rotation. You want to go, here's the rotation here. You want to go Stormkeeper, okay? Stormkeeper number 1 into Storm Elemental, into Chain Lightning, and you'll do your Storm Elemental's Primal Elementalist, get him doing his thing as well. Then you're going to go Nature's Swiftness into Ele Blast into Earthquake, okay? Then you're kind of into the regular rotation of things. You have a second Stormkeeper you can use. You want to get a Flame Shock out there for sure. And you want to get those Lava Surge procs rolling if possible, because that'll give you your power of the Maelstrom. So I'm just giving you like the very beginning opener. Like you might want to start out with Lava Burst into a Flame Shock right out of the gates. Like hard cast Lava Burst, and then as it's in the air, hit your Flame Shock. Then Storm Ele, and you'll already have Stormkeeper before this, right? So it's like Stormkeeper, Lava Burst, Flame Shock, Storm Ele, Nature Swiftness, Ele Blast, Earthquake. That's like your opener. It sounds confusing, but it'll get you a ton of damage right out of the gates, and then you can just keep going with the rest of the build. As for this last point that I want to put in somewhere, guys, there's honestly a million places you could put it. You could put it in Magma Chamber. Make sure Flame Shock damage increase the damage of your next Earth Shock, Ele Blast, or Earthquake, stacking up to 20 times. Like it's interesting, but probably not that good. You could just get Ascendance, or you could get Primordial Wave. Or you could grab Elemental Equilibrium for more damage. Really, this last point is up to you. You could get some extra Maelstrom generation from Flame Shock, but again, you're only going to have like maybe 1 to 2 Flame Shocks out. And maybe that's good enough. I'm not sure. But a big cooldown like Primordial Wave or Deeply Rooted / Ascendance. You probably don't want Deeply Rooted, but Ascendance could be perfectly fine for like single target. It'll really help your single target damage in a Mythic Plus environment maybe. Or you go Primordial Wave just to get that extra Lava Burst getting sent out. But again, this build is really not about Lava Burst. It is all about the lightning side. It's about casting Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt as fast and as often as you possibly can. It's about getting a Nature's Swiftness Ele Blast into an Earthquake to get your Echoes of the Great Sundering out of the gates right away. It's about utilizing your double Stormkeeper to make sure that you are maximizing your AoE damage. Just basically put Stormkeeper on like a 30-second cooldown, more or less, that you're just able to get it out on every single pack now, which is really, really cool. On top of that, of course, Flash of Lightning is going to be reducing the cooldown of all of your lightning spells, all of your nature spells, which is very, very significant. So things like Swelling Maelstrom are here just to ensure that you don't overcap your Maelstrom, which is very likely to happen with this kind of build. Aftershock is here for that, really for the smoothness in the rotation. Getting a proc on Aftershock really helps to smooth out the rotation for Ele Shaman. So that's the build, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is essentially like a haste mastery. You know, it's an overload build. You really want lots of mastery because you have Mountains Will Fall. Haste mastery, Storm Elemental build for Ele Shaman. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think this is going to be a fantastic build in Mythic Plus. I think it's going to be very, very good. I don't necessarily think it's going to be better than the Fire build, but it probably could be. It's going to be competitive for sure. So let me know what you think in those comments. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, it really does help me out if you drop a like down below and hit the subscribe button. So please just take a couple seconds to do that. That'd be really awesome. If you want to support what I'm doing here, the future of the channel, Patreon, guys. That's the best way to do it. There are perks that you can earn every month for being a part of the Patreon. So thank you so much again for being here. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.